Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And today I want to talk to you guys about uniforms. More specifically, I want to give you guys a rundown of the uniforms that I think are the worst in the game. Now I do this in part because I recently did a video about Gamora's uniform and Drax's uniform and or lack of a uniform, and I've done videos before on the best uniforms. I've done kind of guides on which ones to buy for specific characters, but I haven't really gone through and given you guys a warning as to what you should not buy absolutely in any case whatsoever, except for a few extreme specific examples. So I wanted to do that now just as a warning to you guys. If you're fans and if you're not obsessive collectors of all uniforms, stay away from the following. I have categorized them as a 10-to-1 fashion, but there is some leeway here, and some of them may, shift places if certain people are looking at it, and it's just my opinion, so try not to get too salty about it. So at number 10, I think, and oh, keep in mind guys, I do own 5 out of the 11 uniforms I'm going to mention, so I'm pretty well versed with why they're so terrible. Number 10, to kick it off, Red Skull's Secret Wars uniform. I was really happy when this uniform was announced. I thought this was going to revitalize the character. It came, I believe, in conjunction or slightly after he got his 5th skill or his 6-star skill, which gave him clones or a summon, and so I was really excited to get both that skill and his uniform. I bought it immediately and I tried it out, and it was a huge disappointment. And the main reason why is that there's negative synergy between his typing change from blast to speed and his 5th skill summons. If you guys are not aware, every single type has a stat base, and the stat base for speed types is the lowest in the game. Blast characters are somewhere above average. So what that basically did was his 5th skill, which is Legion of Hydra, that summons enemies or guys with 40% of his stats. That 40% is drawing from a lower number when you have his uniform. Now yes, his attack and defense are boosted by 10 to 20% when he has his uniform, but that's still not enough to make up for the really sad stats that he has with this uniform. The only saving grace of it would be on his rifle shield, his 3-star skill, I believe. He now gets an energy, thank you for the slam door. He now gets an energy shield, which gives 20% of his max HP, but since it only lasts 2 seconds, it's basically useless. This uniform, honestly, aside from the crotch area, looks super cool. I love the medieval kind of style to it and the hood and the sword, but it's so disappointing and it's so underwhelming for a character that should be so much more powerful. It's gotta make this list. Number 9 on the list is another one that I have. It's the Bobby Morse Mockingbird all Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform. It's like 20 different words to describe one uniform. Part of the reason why this uniform is so bad is because it only changes one skill, and it only gives her a guard break, which is basically only for Shadowlands or PvP. The other thing that makes this uniform really bad is that another better uniform came out not that long after. It was really disappointing. I remember buying this one thinking I would actually start to use Bobby Morse because, especially for Villain Siege, that guard break was useful, and then this came out not long after and completely eclipsed it. This is far and away the better uniform for Mockingbird. The only kind of caveat to this uniform that you may need to buy it is if you're trying to upgrade the ancient one or Angela's all new all different uniform, because they both need this uniform for their mythic slot and to get those mythic stats when you upgrade them. But if you don't need them for that, never buy that uniform. Number 8 is the Rocket Raccoon all new all different. This one a lot of people liked when it came out because it looked just like Rocket Raccoon, and people really wanted the characters to succeed. The only bonus is that it increases the number of mines, but that increases the damage on a skill that never gets triggered because the enemy never runs over the mines, so it's basically a useless uniform. It also changes cover fire slightly, but not enough to really matter. Super underwhelming uniform, makes this uniform look amazing by comparison, even though this one is still not very good. Amazing how that can happen. Number 7 on the list, Blade 70s Classic. For how badass this uniform looks, it should be immensely better. But as you can see there, wow, the skill Sword Edge reduces the enemy's physical defense. Guess what, guys? That doesn't matter at all in the game. On top of that, doesn't apply against world bosses or any impactful game modes. On top of that, it only changes 2 of his skills, and none of his skills that need changing. Doesn't give him any survivability. Basically nothing. So this cool ass uniform is going to waste right now, and it's upsetting because a lot of people are Blade fans and this is the best they got right now. So very disappointing for that one. But it is needed for Wasp's legendary upgrade. So if you are working on Wasp, you may have to bite the bullet and buy this uniform. Number 6, Captain Falcon. Now, when this uniform came out, in its defense, there weren't that many uniforms in the game. So this is kind of a uniform of a bygone era. But Netmarble could go back and upgrade it. They probably won't. I think they should. Whatever. It's terrible. Regardless, shield throw basically does nothing, and it's a pretty crappy skill. Swoop is kind of okay because he jumps up, but it's not an iframe, so it really doesn't help out. It only really helps in Shadowlands to create some distance. And then the 25% rate when attacking for physical damage basically does nothing. It's like a much worse version of Yondu's uniform, and that one, as you guys know, is already not very good. It doesn't change any of Falcon's other skills, and it's just really bad. The only saving grace is that it's needed for Yellow Jacket's mythic uniform, so if you're upgrading that one, you might need to, you know, get another Captain America. Number 5, the top 5 uniforms worst on the list. Angela, Secret Wars. This uniform is just plain terrible. They tried to get creative with the bonus 20% increased damage dealt against blast type characters. You would think that would be good, especially given how overloaded the meta is with blast characters, especially now. It was at the time of this uniform with characters like Yellow Jacket, and it's even more so now, and this uniform still sees no play. Why? Because it doesn't change any of Angela's skills, and that's where she struggles the most. Her skills are just not good. They're just poorly animated. They don't offer any survivability or mobility or anything like that, and it just, she dies too quickly. On top of that, this uniform is heavily overshadowed by this far superior uniform, which still leaves Angela super vulnerable. It just turns her into a glass cannon, which at least is good for blowing up certain things. So for that reason, this uniform, despite looking very cool, I must say, is trash. Number 4 on the list, the toy uniform, probably the most ridiculed uniform next to Iron Man's toy uniform. This one, I don't know, this laser face, taser face, is this uniform. This literally looks like something out of Hasbro's Nightmares. The glossiness really doesn't help this uniform out, and this looks like a 12-year-old's drawing come to life. It's one of the most poorly, digitized uniforms. It's one of the worst looking uniforms in the game. And not only does it look bad, but it just doesn't do anything. It's just as bad as this one, except this one looks badass. This is a cool looking uniform. America. Fuck yeah. This uniform looks like something your cousin would piss on after he's finished playing with the toy. Horrifying. On the other hand, this one looks cool, and it actually finally does something. So this one, smack dab in the middle, is the middle that you should cut out of your diet and cut out of your life, and never buy this uniform. Next up on the list, number 3, Lash. This uniform is bad simply because it doesn't change any of Lash's skills. It makes him look like a ripoff Akuma from Street Fighter, and the uniform bonus is really bad on a 10-second cooldown. And it's disappointing because Lash could have been such a cool character. He has an interesting tier 2, he has an interesting third skill, and they just didn't want to change any of his other skills. He lacks damage so badly, and if they had just given him 1 or 2 skill modifiers to modify the percentage to make them higher, this uniform could be one of the best, and it's just really disappointing. Number 2 on the list is a newer uniform that I was sorely disappointed in when I laid eyes on it. Wong's from Marvel's Doctor Strange. Ancient One got a badass uniform, Doctor Strange got a badass uniform, Mordo got an interesting uniform at the very least. Caecilius finally got his eyes. Wong got nothing. Okay, no skill changes to a character that needs them, okay, aside from his third skill. And then his activation rate is actually so bad. This is like having Smart Raccoon on your uniform. Nobody wants that. This is a terrible uniform. So embarrassing. Thankfully, it's not needed for Doctor Strange's uniform, or people would be having fits. And number 1 on the list, guys, if you could not guess already, yes, we're going to have a dual number 1 spot taken up by Gamora's uniforms. Yes, guys, both of them. I have to give the tippity top number 1 to this one, just because despite the fact that it looks nice, it doesn't look as nice as this one. Okay, we got the stars, we got the cape, Yes, the bleed effect is useless and the 30% ignore defense is much better, but I'm going to ignore the ignore defense because this one just looks pretty, and if you're going to die in 5 seconds, you might as well do it in style, guys. So this is our 1B worst uniform of the game, and here is our 1A worst uniform of the game. I'm not going to spend any more time explaining why this uniform is actually so terrible. If you don't remember why, go check out the "this is not fair" or "this isn't fair," however the hell I clickbait worded it, video, and you will see just what I'm talking about. So that is the list for the top 10, 11-ish worst uniforms in the game, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think are the absolute bottom trash garbage of the Gamora and other uniforms. And of course, guys, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow and on the extra live long stream on Twitch. Take care.